Threw me off there. All right, and welcome back. They didn't give me a full countdown. Sorry about that. I'm just moving everything around. Looks like we are all set and live. Let me just double check. Hi, Panda. Hi in chat. Welcome to Chair League. On the left-hand side, we have Team Skyarch, and on the right, we have ReGen. This is the final week of regular play. Next week should be the start of the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, we got some games here tonight. We have this, actually, just this single matchup of Team Skyarch versus ReGen. Whew. Just everything, like, there was like 50 seconds left, and I was like, all right, we got 50 seconds. Then all of a sudden, it's just like, we're going into Spider Queen, so you got to push all the buttons. So, either way, that'll forever just be on stream. So, going into this matchup here, Tomb of the Spider Queen, map where we see a lot of lane prioritization, as well as on lane clear. But we also we see a priority on of Cho'Gall on this map, too. So, okay. I actually like the Stukov ban. Kind of just like getting myself back into the mindset of the game. But either way, the Stukov ban I like is because he does clear very well. He offers he honestly can solo lane in this map, so picking up a secondary healer with him is powerful, as well as the zoning he provides I think is quite good. It's definitely two things that we need just to keep an eye on as we're going through these drafts. The Stukov, the zoning that he provides, depending on the map, is like we see him a lot on Braxis, Battlefield of Eternity, Immortal Shrines, like a lot of these points where you have to fight, Towers of Doom. He works on a lot of these situational maps like that. Garrosh being banned out here, just probably something they really don't want to deal with. Oh, we dropped, so we are not going to show production. Can we stream thing? Okay, well, there we go. I know what the issue is. So my Stream Deck decided to turn off there midway through. But it looks like we had someone drop out of the... Oh, the entire lobby has been cleared out. Oh, okay. Well, that'll give me one quick second to start the wrong application. I apologize. This is just... Okay, I'll accept this. Let me go ahead and just shut some things down really quick. One sec. Okay, so this needs to go away. We're gonna be dropping frames here because of me hitting the wrong button. Okay, we should be going back up fine any second here. Okay, my apologies. So I need... Okay. There's going to be a pop-up. Oh, no, I already installed that update. All right, so we should be all set at this point. All right, now that we have a little bit of time, I just want to talk about the charity that's actually going on that's above my head. There is going to be a 72-hour stream this weekend starting at 8 p.m. Central Time, running until Monday, 8 p.m. Central Time. So please check that out. It's going to be Heroes for Charity. Looks like we are all set in the game, so we're going to be going into that. They swapped sides for me. That was really nice of them. Okay, so we can actually get back into this. But while we load back into this, I'm assuming it's going to be same pick, same bands. The Heroes Charity, it's we're trying to raise at least, you know, $10,000. There are tons of prizes. I was seeing today there were, you know, codes for skins, codes for games. I think there's actually some hardware that's available. I think someone donated some mouse. I think there's a router up for, and it's as we hit these tiers. So there's definitely like a lot of goals that we can hit. There's a lot of giveaways. So please check it out over the weekend. It's definitely. I wore my new shirt that I purchased when I had a couple beers one night. But please check out the charity. It's something that Nelstar put together honestly Monday, and it's exploded. I mean, there's so much response. It started as a 24-hour stream, and now it's a 72-hour, which just, there's like over 25 streamers, anywhere from like a 2 to 4 hour block. I think there's Cavalier Guest. I think Crowan was in there. I'm in there. There's Gofty. He's another streamer within the community that I work with. So definitely please check it out. But here we go into this chair league game. We look like people wanted to just adjust the server really quick, make sure that they were going to be on Central. It's a little bit more fair for everybody, latency wise. And then so we're going to have the Tacet, our first pick here on the side of ReGen. Okay. I like that. He does provide strong lane clear, as well as enables a lot of auto attackers like Tracer, Lunara, Vala. So definitely some of these people, even the Grey main as well. So definitely just a strong first pick here. And the zoning control that he has with the Force Walls is really, really nice as well. And Archon, I mean, I think we typically see Archon on this map. But it looks like on the side of Team Skyarch, they're going to go for, it looks like a hyper carry combination. Now here's the real question. Does ReGen disallow the probable Vala in this situation by picking it up, or are they going to... That's the one thing I'm not too sure about it, is how do you respond to it? Because with the Uther and the Ariel being picked up here on the side of Team Skyarch, it just seems like that's the route you'd be going into. So that's why I'm thinking on the ReGen, they're not hesitating here, but they're going to want to pick up something to pair into that Tacet, and maybe honestly a tank before this ban phase. So I was going to say, okay, so there's the Ariel, and they're actually going to go for Rhaegar here. Okay. So they're worried about just they're making sure that they get that Rhaegar pickup there. That's interesting. I like that combination that they've got on the side of ReGen. Now going into this ban phase, if I was on the side of Team Skyarch, looking at their composition, they're going to need some lane clear as well as a tank. So there's two possibilities. There's the double tank, so you have an off tank like a Sonya or Dahaka, and you have a main tank like probably an Arthas or a Stitches. But at the same time, they can also go into the solo tank with maybe like a Kael'thas or a Gul'dan. So it looks like they're going to go ban out the Stitches. And the reason I'm thinking this Kael'thas or Gul'dan, because the wave clear is, there's Tacet, there's Vala with the multi-shot. Rhaegar actually has, with the Lightning Bond at level 1, he can put down the totem and clear that a little bit quickly. But I'm just thinking overall the speed and also the poke damage would be pretty powerful with a Kael'thas or a Gul'dan. But it actually looks like they're going to be hovering it themselves. The draft on the side of Team Skyarch is so open at this point. I like the Gul'dan ban mostly because they're saying, you know what, you don't get to have the wave clear for this. That's what I'm kind of thinking. I don't know if I feel like there might be a more impactful ban in this situation. The Gul'dan, unless they know that there is a Gul'dan played on the side of Team Skyarch often. I should scoot over just a tad bit just so you can see. It is Division 2. I was kind of hovering over that a little bit. My apologies. Now we're going to this last pick phase here. They're going to want to lock in probably at least a tank and their hyper carry, which I'm assuming is going to be the Grey main. You can go Alarak here. No, I don't think you're going to go into the Alarak. They're going to go into the Artanis and the Falstad, actually. Falstad actually having a pretty deep... So his global isn't, a full global. It's not like Dahaka or Abathur. Or Brightwing. It's not where you can just go anywhere on the map at any point. You're limited like Illidan's Hunt. So with Tomb of the Spider Queen being such a short map vertically, the flight gets a lot of benefit on this map. So I really like the Falstad, but does that mean they're going to hyper carry with their Falstad? And they're gonna Bruiser. They're gonna have they're off tanking with the Artanis. We'll see. We'll see coming back around to that. Now on the side of ReGen, they've got a strong combination with the Tassadar Vala. Rhaegar provides a lot of good lane clear. The slow as well as the chain heal on top of the second health bar that you get from the Ancestral. I really like those. Now, these last two picks, I'm just curious to see which route they're going to be going into. If it's going to be the Bruiser. Okay. So this is what I was actually thinking among the others, is that they're going to need something in melee range. So whether it's going to be that, you know, that Sonya Dahaka, if they're going to go into the off tank, or if they're going to be picking up a solo laner assassin like what we see with the Alarak and also the Greymane. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see the Greymane in bottom lane. Is he going to go up against the Artanis? They could... I don't know if they're going to solo with this Artanis. The suppression pulse, I just want to note, at 10 is going to be pretty devastating on the side of ReGen. It's going to hinder Tassadar, Vala, Rhaegar, Diablo, and Greymane. Especially the Vala and the Greymane and the Tassadar. They're going to be weakened by that quite a bit. It's just something to consider as we get into the later half of the game. But this last pick, I honestly think it has to be a tank, but they're going to hyper carry with just the fall step. Okay. I mean, it's a map that he works well on. He stacks pretty good. As long as he's making those top mid rotations, I think he'll do fine. But I'm just worried about this solo tanking with the Artanis, especially up against the Greymane Cursed Bullet. That percentile damage to him is going to be scary. And also, whoever's playing Nazeebo, I'm a little disappointed. That's the wrong skin. Christmas skin, always. All right, here we go into our first game on Tomb of the Spider Queen, Team Skyarch versus ReGen. On the left-hand side, we have Team Skyarch with Skyarch on Artanis, Sky Grin on Nazeebo, M580 Gogan on Falstead, Touch of Chaos on Uther, and Debomber on Ariel. On the right-hand side, we have ReGen with Rexpa on Vala, Templar on Diablo, Murda on Greymane, Zul'Kan on Rhaegar, and Savior on Tassadar. And once again, hello and thank you to everyone in Twitch chat. How are you guys doing tonight? As we load into this map. The one thing that I'm excited about is seeing this solo Artanis. I'm curious to see how they're going to be playing that. This is going to be interesting. Nazeebo actually, this is the one thing I wanted to check. He's actually going to the Toad build here. Which, if I'm not mistaken, is better up against multiple tanks? Nope, never mind. Maybe I'm thinking of a later talent, or I'm just not thinking of it correctly at all. I don't know. I honestly prefer the spider build. I really do. Okay, looks like we are going into this first game. So we do have this mid matchup. The spray's already coming up from a couple of members. But looks like we're just getting spin of friendship. No response, unfortunately. So rude. But it looks like we will have the false start going up into the top lane. The Nazeebo will be going down into the bottom up against the Greymane. And top will be... It looks like ReGen is going to go ahead and just put this 4-man... Yep, they're going to... Okay, so they're going to go ahead and go for that 4-man rotation between top and mid. And I like this. No, I really like this on this map because the rotation between top and mid is so short. Keeping your team together like this is really, really impactful, especially because the fact that you do start to, if you get ahead a little bit here in these rotations, you start to kind of win the lanes over a little bit, and then you can go for some of these picks, you know, as you get a little bit ahead in experience. That's what they're kind of, looks like they're kind of doing a little bit. They're playing safe here. No swap out from the Artanis. Looks like he will just be in the lane. They're trying to deny those gems a little bit there, but unfortunately that will not be the case. Do have Falstad in top, just getting pushed back a little bit here. And this 4-man rotation is, I think, catching Team Skyarch off a little bit. It looks like they're trying just to dedicate specific heroes to lanes, but then they're trying to go and they're swapping out their Nazebo. It looks like we probably have a pause coming in here, so we'll swap it back to me. Hi, welcome back. Looks like there's just a DC. We'll go ahead and fix that in the meantime. Let's go ahead and just talk about some of these level 1 talents. The one thing I was just looking at the start is Ariel actually took Searing Light. That's interesting to me. Alright, looks like we will be getting back into this game. Alright. So, we do have the member that dropped back right in here. Falstad thought for a second that he was about to get ganked, but unfortunately, we will not be seeing that first kill just yet. Nazebo providing some good zoning between these rotations, just kind of slowing them down a little bit here. But at the same time, we do see that the Falstad is trying to get a little bit of damage out. He is trying to stack up those hammer gains at level 1. That's interesting. He didn't go into the auto attack build, especially with... maybe this isn't something that they planned out doing themselves, but as we're seeing out of ReGen a little bit here, they were doing that 4-man rotation, so getting the auto attack stacks would be a little bit easier for Falstad, since he would be laning with that Nazebo trying to stack his Voodoo Ritual. Apologize for that little lag there. Let me just double check that we don't have anything crazy running in the background. We do have the Uther currently getting dove upon. Unfortunately, he will be able to get out of here without a problem. The rest of the team does show up, and they will be able to deny the kill. Do have Falstad going in for the turn in here. Will get denied by Vala here, just poking out with that Hungering Arrow. We're just going to go ahead and check into bottom lane really quickly, seeing how this matchup is going. It looks like overall it's, you know, benefiting on the side. It's more beneficial for the Grey main at this point, but shouldn't be too big of an issue. So we do have the rest of the team rotating back into this 4-man. And actually, they have enough for a turn, and I believe, yes. Yeah, they only need to get their 18 in, which I believe is just on their Grey main. So what they're going to go ahead and do here is they're going to push up the lanes. Potentially, I think Artanis is actually trying to deny the turn in, but Grey main's just going to keep laning in that bottom lane. And actually, with that, they are going to go peek down into bottom. The Artanis isn't really expecting. There is the overpower. They do get the dive in from the Grey main onto him. Now, his shields can potentially proc any second here. He does get the dash off. Looks like we do have the team coming in here. Grey main trying to get that turn in, but unfortunately, without that little extra damage, they didn't get the kill. Now, they do get the first Web Weaver turn in here. It is before 7s. The experience is just about equal. Artanis is getting caught out here, and actually the zombie wall will catch him. That is going to be the first game going over to ReGen. Now, there is the stun onto the Diablo. He will be walking away here, but it won't be a problem for him. So now, with these first Web Weavers coming in, Artanis should be back up before they really, you know, start to impact the lanes too much. Ariel going into that bottom lane, making sure she is collecting those spider butts. Now we do have the Nazebo in mid, trying to poke down just a few of the members here. But with 7s on the side of ReGen, they're going to be able to be way more aggressive than Skyarch would like to deal with. Mostly because of the fact that, you know, they need that extra, that little buff in their abilities. So ReGen's going to push in here quite heavily, but with 7s on the side of Team Skyarch as well, then now they're going to have to play this a little bit safer. They're playing more with inside their Web Weaver, making sure they just get a little bit of poke damage onto that fort. Grey main and bottom lane, I just want to know... Oh, actually, excuse me, Artanis is actually going to get flipped here. Falstad rotating in. There's the dash out to buy him a little bit of time. There is the stun onto the Grey Guard, but the Artanis will be getting away. Arya will be able to defend up against this Grey main and bottom lane. She does have 23 gens, so he looks like he's going to go in for that, try and get that kill. So he'll go ahead and get that, and luckily... Oh, I thought Nazebo was going to be able to rotate there in time. I was going to say, luckily they had the Nazebo in place for this, but unfortunately he wasn't. And so that will be 23 gems just falling. And that's a lot in the piggy bank to lose here. At this point, we do have that top lane being pushed in. They're taking out the well here, and this is a really important factor that you want to consider in these games, because the fact that the well is gone, fighting in these lanes is extremely difficult on the side of Team Skyarch. They don't have that little bit of extra sustain. Opening up the walls as well means it's harder for them to retreat away. If they do, you know, the mid lane for ReGen is way safer than the mid lane for Team Skyarch at this point, because of the fact that there's more room for ReGen to get away and hide behind their gates. So definitely really good lane control at this point. They've just done this strong 4-man rotation between top and mid, pushing up the wave, getting the gems, and then just turning in. And they're only, if I'm doing math right, oh, I called myself out. I think 15 gems away? No, that's not right at all. But we do have a fight here in this bottom lane. Tens are really close on the side of ReGen. They just need one more auto attack from the Vala onto that Ariel, but she does get the slight healing onto herself. Huge Zebo wall onto a few of the members of ReGen. They are able to get out of here. Falstad putting out so much damage with that boomerang. But at this point, we do have to see a little bit of a turn, and ReGen look like they're going to start to chase down the rest of the team. Now, they are by their forts. They are fighting under the terms of Team Skyarch, and they can just back off here. Swap does go out onto the Vala. She does vault forward. There is the cleanse onto her. The shield is there from the Tassadar. Huge blow up. The Tens are here on the side of ReGen. They start to chase this back. There is the stun out. First of all, they're from the Tassadar. Okay, we do have, looks like Rain of Vengeance, Apocalypse, Curse Bullet, Ancestral Healing, and the Force Wall from the Tassadar. Now, with Tens being a level difference away here, Team Skyarch is they're going to want to play this safe, and you see them rotating around as a 5-man at this point. They don't want to get picked off too early here. Now, I believe ReGen is quite close to getting the rest of their gems in here. I believe they should be only 10 away, so they only need 2. At this point, Nazebo able to lane up a little bit here, and I apologize for that. I did not see that rotation from the enemy team. They go ahead and they get the kill onto Greymane, which actually pushes them into their level 10s. We are going to have the Aegis come out from the Ariel. I'm curious what a few of the members... We actually have Slappy Ghost from the Nazebo instead of the Gargantuan. Interesting. Ravenous Spirit from the Nazebo. Gust from Falstad, and D-Shield from the Uther. Go ahead and take away this bottom chat. Looks like we have the top actually getting pushed in quite a bit from these spiders. Will get cleared up, but that will delay the top lane quite a bit. Bottom being the main issue currently for ReGen. They're going to go ahead, clear the mid with their 4-man, leave the Greymane in bottom lane to deal with all that, and I would assume potentially go in for a flank up against the enemy team in top. They are a little bit spread out here, so they need to be careful if they go in for this engagement, but they are going to rotate safe. They're going to go right to where their well is, trying to protect that. Tests that are getting a little bit of zoning, making sure those minions get right off of it, but that is going to be the well falling here. Zebo wall does come out. It does not connect onto any of the members. They do get the flip onto the Artanis. There is good body blocking coming out. There is the force wall from the Tassadar. Huge suppression pulse from the Artanis, buying them a little bit of time, not taking too much damage. The Apocalypse does come out, connects onto a couple people, but Gus denies any of that follow-up damage. There's the spot from the Artanis. They get the dash back in. The Ancestral does come out onto the Diablo here, just buying so much time. Rhaegar is doing such a phenomenal job keeping his teammates up. There is Vala diving in, trying to get that Ariel, but unfortunately it's just a little bit too far. Okay, and with that clean disengage, honestly, Team Skyarch, they had a really good push there. They got a little bit of the fort. At this point, Falstad will be flying into bottom lane to go up against this Greymane, but unfortunately he will not be yielding a kill. We do have the Artanis in top lane getting the D-Shield after I think he went a little bit too deep there against a couple of the members of ReGen. And at this point, they have enough for a turn, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and get that. Looks like we're going to have the Uther going back at this point to fill up a little bit more on his mana, and ReGen is going to dedicate a lot of their... Okay. I was going to say that they're dedicating a lot just to a fort that's about to fall, but they're going to go ahead and rotate into the top lane. Webweaver should clear up the mid without a problem, and they're making sure that this top lane is going to get pushed in. And the reason they're focusing the top lane is actually quite important. Top lane is the boss lane, so if there is any sort of win condition or any sort of throw pit, this is the map for it. And so, you know, clearing out that top lane is a priority on this map, and it's definitely something you need and want to consider when you're... excuse me. When you're playing on this map. I just read over in Twitch chat, and thank you, Classic Chambers. So with this top lane being pushed in quite a bit, Force Wall does come out, denying some of the members actually going through. I think that was actually to block the Artanis maybe through his swap. At this point, though, we do have good zoning coming out from quite a few of the members. The swap does go onto the Diablo. He does push the Artanis out a little bit further. The Expression Pulse connects onto so many of the members. The Gust actually pushes them far, far away. They get the kill onto this Webweaver. Now, I want to do note that in mid, the Webweaver has pushed that fort in, and in bottom, the same thing has happened as well. So this is definitely a strong situation for ReGen to, or a strong position for ReGen to be in. Now, we do have this boss currently being, they're going for it on the side of ReGen, and I don't think that Team Skyarch can really defend against this, mostly because of the fact that they're down 13s. I think they honestly know that they're there. But they're taking that asset off the map. They only need 16 more gems on the side of ReGen to go for another turn-in. But at the same time, Team Skyarch literally just got the last 2 that they needed. So I'm curious to see where they're going to be taking this. If they're going to go for the turn-in or if they're just going to go for the full defense. And it looks like they're just going to go defend this entire thing. It is about 11-minute boss, I believe, so it's not extremely strong, but this keep, I honestly did not expect them to be able to save it. And I think the Webweaver turn-in would have been a little bit stronger, because what they did just now is they gave the opportunity for ReGen to get back on the map, clear out that mid, push up the lanes, and if you do get the Webweaver turn-in, it's not going to be as powerful because of the fact that they're going to have to be coming from almost the keep location rather than, at this point, they would have been in this fort range, and they would have probably spawned in this middle of the mid lane. So Team Skyarch, I think, just more worried about that boss push. They could have, I think, gotten the turn in and rotated in time for it. But either way, looks like ReGen will be just shy 4 for another turn in here. So they're gonna go ahead and get the rest of their gems in currently, and potentially just wait for a minion wave to come to them. Get the, actually they need 2 minion waves, but or they could get 2 kills. So at this point, they are postured up for that. They do get the Shadow Charge comes out from the Diablo. The huge Apocalypse on so many of the members. The Ariel is caught out into the front line almost. She is going to be killed. The Gust does go out. Slappy Ghost is there, but it won't be actually getting any kills. With that Ariel being just demolished at this point, that actually is, they're still just shy 2 on the side of ReGen. But Skyarch, they're going to have to go ahead and they're going to just set up for a defense at this point. They know that they're not going to be able to go for the turn-in. Because I think they're just a little bit worried for the top lane getting ganked up there. 16s are on the side of ReGen, so Team Skyarch has to play a lot safer at this point. And they have been. I mean, it's not like they haven't been before. So we do have another posture for this from ReGen. They do get the Fire Stomp out, and they actually kind of announced their position a little bit. Greymane is in the bottom getting this this hard camp. It actually looks like they denied the turn-in for long enough. They got another one themselves. This top lane looks like it's going to once again be the priority for ReGen. It is the catapult lane, but they're going to go ahead and go in with these bruisers in mid. Make sure that they go. Nope. I'm trying to predict what they're doing here, but it's not. This first pulse actually goes out and it doesn't connect onto anyone. And I think they were actually, so many bush attempts happened by ReGen, they're afraid of actually just really rotating through any of those bush areas at this point. So the suppression pulse coming out, it is down for another 30 seconds here. We do have Gust, we do have all of the rest of the ultimates up at this point. We do have the Apocalypse ready, and we should see it coming out any second. Now the Gust was there, and it was already used, but this Webweaver's still up, so this gives them a really good ability to use the Apocalypse at this point, because of the fact that there is no huge disengage from the Falstad. They do get the the zombie wall on the Diablo. My apologies. So we do have the rest of the team rotating into this bottom lane with the next Webweaver. Looks like they're actually going to go ahead and confirm this keep, and they do have the Diablo going in deeper here. Apocalypse does come out. There was a suppression pulse. Did connect onto a couple of members. There's a force wall out. We do have the Artanis falling here, but we also have the Rhaegar falling as well. The Ancestral, I believe, was used as he was dying. Diablo has so low here. So many of the members of ReGen are so close to falling, but they get the trade, and they get right out of here getting 2 keeps. So this is basically... this is a really good position for ReGen to be in. Now, boss is up in the next 45 seconds, so that is something that both teams need to consider. Artanis will be up obviously before the Rhaegar, so there is a possibility for them to position for this and have the Artanis come straight into them, but at the same time, they really need to depush a lot of their lanes. The one thing that I'm going to show, and I really don't like to, I just want to see. So he's at 159. Oops, backspace. He's at 159, so expect to see him going into those Voodoo Ritual at level 20. Now, on the side of ReGen, they don't have enough for turn-in, but what they're doing is they're positioning themselves around these turn-in points to make sure that Team Skyarch really can't get a turn-in and potentially get a any sort of leverage on the map. You know, opening this up for them would be really, really great in the late game. These late game structures do give a little bit more experience as the game scales here. So that's one thing that we do need to consider at this point. But we do have ReGen. Looks like they're posturing for the boss. Looks like they're actually going into the boss. And they just left their task star out to try and at least... Yep, so he's going to go ahead and poke this. And they're just buying time. Top lane is currently getting stacked up quite a bit. So they go ahead and they steal away the boss with the Rhaegar Vala and the Greymane. Now we have the rest of the team rotating in here, so if they can get a kill, this is going to be a really, really powerful moment for them. But they do actually get the turn on the side of Team Skyarch. This will buy them a little bit of time. Fortunately, there is no overpower from the Diablo. The Gust does come out. There's actually the zombie wall that zones them away a little bit here. They do get the stun onto the Zebo. But it looks like at this point we do have the boss already on core, taking down some of the shielding. We're just going to go ahead and make sure that this boss doesn't end the game without us seeing. This is about a 16-17 minute boss, so it will do quite a bit of damage to their keep. They're going to have to dedicate a lot more assets to this if they want to keep this. Boss is at 50 and core is starting to fall a little bit. The rest of the team of ReGen is starting to come in on this core. The stun is there onto the Ariel. They end up getting the suppression pulse out. There's the D-shield onto her as well. Apocalypse is used to getting the stun onto a few of the members, but it looks like the core will fall. GG. First game going over to ReGen. Whew. And that was an amazing first game. Let's go ahead and update our little visual tracker at the top. We gotta claim that ReGen won that one. So we will go ahead and set up the lobby for the next game. So now, the one thing I want to note, the drafts for both teams were extremely, I think they were well put together, but I think that as the game progressed, the Nazebo Artanis combination, I don't think it benefited them very much. The Gust was really good for those disengages when the Apocalypse was used, but then towards the later half of the game, they really started to space those out a little bit, and so they would just wait for Gust to be, they would force Gust, and then that's when they would go in with the, Apocalypse, and they would dive in a little bit harder. So it was a really good play on the side of ReGen. The draft for both teams was just great. The Nazebo, if they got into that late game, I think the Nazebo would have been very powerful. As we already saw, he was at 159 so early in the game. But unfortunately, they got rushed a little too quickly, and that was the end of it. So the one thing I want to note really quick, while we are in this, in this little scene right here, at the top, we do have a donation currently being put together. Nelstar started this Monday. It is just where we're aiming. We're going to do a 72-hour stream starting Friday at 8 EST. No, CST. Excuse me. Wrong time zone. 8 CST on Friday, and it will run till Monday, 8 CST. So we have prizes in there. Let me see if I can actually just pull it up on my phone really quickly. I saw them on Discord earlier. There was just a ton. So here we go. At 8,000, there's some game codes. There's actually a lot of game codes here. There's hero stuff. I'm seeing actually games outside of heroes. There's just a whole lot of stuff. And actually, at the same time, I have seen some chat about there's a goal at 10,000 for Nelstar. I don't believe I remember what it is though. And also, thank you to Rag and Classic Chambers and Twitch chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. We do have the teams loading in here. We will be going into Brax's Holdout. That will be our next game. And just also the other thing I wanted to note really quickly, if you type !charity in the Twitch chat, it'll give you the link to all this information. The Twitch page we're going to be using, which is definitely something you should go follow now so it alerts you. I believe it's Heroes for Charity. So you can type in, twitch.tv/Heroes for Charity. Go ahead, like that page or follow that Twitch channel now so it alerts you at 8 CST on Friday when the 72-hour stream starts. And, once we get some of these donations and these stretch goals hit, there's some interesting stuff that they're going to be giving away. I'm quite excited about that. Looks like we are all ready for this next game. Let me go ahead and just swap this over. We do have Brax's Holdout as our next map. Let me just go ahead and I got to update one thing really quick. Just so that the little asset at the bottom will say that it's Brax's Holdout. We can start round 2. Okay, so going into this map, as we saw in the last game, there is a priority on Stukov on this map quite often. He is really good at zoning. The zoning ability is really powerful. We do see Genji often on this map as well. He can rotate through top and bottom very quickly, utilizing that boss area. The hop over the wall, the dash through the next is extremely powerful. We also often see Dahaka here. Seeing as how we typically have a 4-1 as a setup on this map, that's definitely something we need to consider. So typically we see tank off tank or tank solo laner. So there's a lot of Alarak here. There's a lot of Dahaka, Sonya. We've even seen there's Rexar that plays on this map. Cho'Gall is a very prominent option too. And it looks like we're gonna go ahead and have that Dahaka ban right out the gate. We don't want to deal with that on the side of Team Skyarch, and I can see why, because on these points, there's the Stukov ban. That's what. I think Stukov, his zoning is really, really powerful, and that's something that I think people need to be just more aware of. I think he falls into the backline for healers. At least he falls to the wayside for me. I think there's more prioritized healers, and he tends to just kind of slip in there every so often. And you can solo heal with them completely fine. There's nothing. I'm not saying anything against him, but I think people prioritize the Rhaegar, Ariel, Uther like that. Those are the 3 healers that people that's what you pick. That's what you go for. But Stukov is something you got to consider too. I mean, he does that chain heal he has, the slow he has, the zoning he has. I mean, the push power that he can give to a team is phenomenal. And that's definitely something that ReGen is saying, you know what? You can't have it, because that's potential first pick material in their eyes. And I don't blame them, really. So this first pick on the side of Team Skyarch here. Last game, I believe ReGen had first pick. So Skyarch went into the Ariel and the Uther. Yes, because I believe ReGen first picked the Vala, if I'm not mistaken. I think so. No, they first picked the Tacitus. That's on me. This just jogged my memory. My apologies. But it looks like we do have the Tacitus being picked up here on the side of Team Skyarch. I like that first pick. It was really powerful for ReGen, so they're definitely a little worried about it, and that they're gonna go ahead and take it themselves on the side of Skyarch. Now ReGen, they have the 1-2 pick here. I mean, Cho'Gall's an option, and it's always fun to see it played on this map. But they're gonna go for the Gul'dan Ariel. Okay. So the Gul'dan Ariel I really like because he does provide really good charge for her in that bottom lane, not solo lane, excuse me. The charge that he does provide is really good for her, as well as the lane clear he can give into the Zerg waves is extremely powerful, as well as just his overall wave clear and poke. The damage over time he can put out too is something you don't want to deal with. Typically we see a Fell Flame build out of him on this map though. Now before we go into our second ban phase here, We're going to have these last 2 picks on the side of Team Skyarch. And so they have the Tassadar. Typically, you want to pair this with something that's... you want to pair this in with an auto attacker before it gets banned out. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see like a Vala and an Arthas here. Nope. Okay. I was thinking Arthas because he paired well. Okay. So what they picked is not wrong at all. They're actually pretty much mimicking ReGen's draft, except swapping out the Kael'thas for the Vala. This is literally their draft. Either way, though, I mean, you can still run. You can run them either way. But the reason I was saying Vala and Arthas is a strong tank. The root he provides is really powerful, and I think that could pair well into the Tassadar in the late game with the Force Walls, as well as the Vala Rain of Vengeance, and also just her burst damage. Now, Kael'thas, he does offer a couple things like that. I just think, I guess they're going for the wave clear. I don't think the Tassadar gets the full value without someone like that. Now, it could be picked up in the later game. We are seeing looks like a hover ban for Falstad, and this is probably because of the fact that we did see that last game. They do need an auto attacker, so this does make it, pairs well with that Tassadar technically. So they're going to go ahead and ban that out, as well as the global threat is something they don't want to deal with. Being able, once again, like it's a short map like Brax's Holdout. It is easy for that Falstad to hop between that top and bottom lane. He can barrel roll through the bottom half of the boss if he needs to get into the bottom lane, or vice versa for the top. It looks like they're actually going to ban out the Stitches once again here. Just afraid of that hook at this point. So at this on the side of ReGen, they're going to need to consider what their tank for their 4-man is, as well as what their solo laner is going to be. And I think that might be an interest. They could pick melee damage into their bottom lane and then flex on their solo for the top lane. I wouldn't be too surprised to see an Alarak come out on the side of ReGen here. Honestly, either team could pick up the Alarak. But I think the way that it looks like on the side of Team Skyarch, they're going to be going into a double tank. Or a tank off tank. ReGen I've casted a bunch of, so I wouldn't be too surprised to actually see a Sonya. But they're going to go for that Genji. Okay, so it's the high mobility character we typically see. We talked about at the start. His rotations between top and mid can be extremely beneficial if he does need to go in for a pick. So I really like that. The Muradin, though, it's interesting. I wonder if they're going for the attack speed reduction because there was the Tassadar picked up. So I wonder if they're going to go ahead and say, all right, well, it looks like they might have someone that we can utilize this Muradin to slow them down attack-wise and just really start to just kind of push into their team. The stun is really powerful as well. I like the side of ReGen's draft at this point is very interesting to me. They've got good lane clear. They've got good fight. I don't know who their solo lane is going to be in top, though. That's what I'm curious to see. On the side of teams Skyarch, though, I think that they could go into like a Lunar. Okay. So I was thinking it was going to be a Lunara into the Artanis. Or not Artanis, but, excuse me, a Lunara into the Diablo. I think Diablo is quite powerful on this map because there's a lot of areas for him to actually go in for that stun, the charge stun into the walls, as well as the overpower is just, the overpower into another's, shadow charge is just really good in the late game. So the repositioning you get from Diablo, I really like that. Who is your solo laner going to be? It's going to be the Sonya. Okay. I was thinking Alarak. I like him on this map. The telekinesis, I think, is pretty powerful. There's a lot of team fighting situations where I think that could manipulate the fight a little bit because they do have some... I mean, they do have a couple... They have the Tassadar stand still, basically, for his auto attack. Rhaegar has to be in there. They're all... So the displacement from the Alarak is pretty good, but the Sonya... I like the Sonya just as much. But here we go into our second game on Brax's Holdout. Team Skyarch versus ReGen. And on the left-hand side, we have Team Skyarch with Skyarch on Tassadar, Skygrin on Artanis, M58 Gogon on Kael'thas, Debomber on Thrall, and Touch of Chaos on Rhaegar. Now on the right-hand side, we have Rexpa on Gul'dan, Templard on Muradin, Murda on Sonya, Savior on Ariel, and Zul'Kan on Genji. All right. Okay, so going into this, I really, what are we going to be taking on the side of Kael'thas? What are you going to be taking Convection? That's what I want to know. We do have the, oh, there's Convection. Okay. The ReGen talent, especially on this map, is phenomenally better. 5, 4. Just that's like my little PSA, like as I've been casting and learning, like I think that the level 1 mana talent is a little bit stronger here. The good luck have funs are thrown out, and we do have Sonya going straight into that top lane. Tassadar providing a little bit of vision to some of these team members. Sprays are thrown out. Looks like we have some spin of friendships, but they will not be returned by any of ReGen. Dash just go out from the Artanis. There is no swap connection, unfortunately. There do have this, excuse me, this Muradin trying just to kind of get a positioning here. Looks like though in top lane we do only have the Sonya up there. Thrall potentially will be going up against that. Oh, looks like they're going to go ahead and send their Artanis. So it looks like bottom lane currently has no tank. And definitely ReGen should be taking advantage of this. Without the tank to really body any of this damage, the Tassadar and the Rhaegar will run out of healing quite quickly, or excuse me, out of mana quite quickly. Tassadar already tapping the well right there. So this is definitely something that they need to consider on the side of Team Skyarch. Now, they are being pushed in quite close to their towers. The minion wave is there. Do have a couple of the, excuse me, corruption stacks stacking for the Gul'dan. Now, I did know in the draft that we do see a Fell Flame build here, but looks like we're going into the corruption stacks, which late game can be extremely powerful. And this is just mostly what I've seen. You know, I'm not saying that that's, you know, the build is wrong or anything. It's just things that I've seen that you know, it's a little bit more powerful in my opinion sometimes. Now, we do have the Artanis currently in top lane going up against the Sonya, and this is probably going to be a pretty even matchup. Artanis probably having to go back at some point to get mana if he doesn't cycle his talents. If he doesn't really just stagger them out quite well, he will be burning through that quite quickly. Checking in, it looks like Kael'thas is only at 2 convection stacks. Currently, we'll be checking through that the entire game. The ReGen actually holding this beacon, mostly because of the fact that they can't really go in on any of the members here since they don't have any of that front line, you know, there's no body bag to absorb all the damage. But we do have at this point the Tassadar rotating up with the Artanis, providing a little bit of extra shielding and help against this Sonya, making sure that they do stop the charge at about 50%. And just, yeah, Twitch chat exactly. Level 1 mana talent. The overall better value on the mana heavy hero like Cage, especially in a map like Raxus with the global generators. That's exactly the thing that I wanted to note, is that the generators for the globes at bottom and top are just so beneficial. Like, why don't you take the globe talent level 1 for KT? Either way, we're missing a lot of the fight here. Looks like we do have quite a few members actually getting hit by some of these convection stacks, but they are providing so much damage that they actually get the kill onto the Thrall. My mistake for missing that. So they get the kill onto the Thrall, and this is actually pretty powerful for ReGen. Now, the rest of the team is rotating up from bottom on the side of Skyarch, trying to just defend against this. We do have Sonya still up here. We have the Genji rotating up as well, trying just to push some of these members of Skyarch back, making sure that the Zerg wave does get as much value as possible. In bottom lane, though, we do see 3 of the members of ReGen currently pushing in that fort and gate. Excuse me, just the gate right now. But they're going to go ahead and try and make sure that they burn this down, open up the map once again so that they really can just control these lanes and force Skyarch back. Now, the ReGen Globe, I believe, was denied at top. These Guardians will be cleared out quite quickly. And this looks like we're going to have the same laning matchup from ReGen, mostly because of the fact that the next Zerg wave will be in bottom lane, so they're going to probably heavily prioritize this lane with the entire team, while the KT is still rotating back. Tassadar is just coming back at this point into the bottom here, but they don't see him on map, so they don't really know when that rotation will happen, so they're going to go ahead and play it safe and back off at this point. So the one thing that I wanted to note, and I was kind of saying in draft, is without this secondary tank, they are holding them back a little bit here, yes, but as this late game will progress, this bottom lane is going to be quite difficult to hold together, mostly because of the fact that there will be that Murden who will become extremely tanky, and definitely provide... Are they going for boss here? Okay, so they're going to go ahead and cheese boss with the Genji, and I don't think Skyarch is going to sniff this out. They're actually... Okay. So just... I'm going to pull this up really quickly. Murden is currently tanking a lot from this boss. They will... Hopefully Murden doesn't die. Do they notice? So they lose Murden. Genji gets out with 90 health, but they steal the boss at 5 minutes. Now, the one thing I want to note, this is a 5-minute boss, so it's not going to be the most powerful thing in the world, but it's definitely something that Skyarch is going to have to dedicate some assets to. But at the same time, they don't really get, I think, as much value because they lost their Murden instead of ReGen, so this is something that, you know, it's their push power at this point is hindered a little bit because of the fact that they just don't have that ability to really go in hard to have the tanky damage. They're waiting for these minion waves to push up, and they're only going to be able to push within the minion wave. Now that, well, Murden's back now, so it won't be too big of an issue. Plus, the fort is currently falling, so this is going to be pretty powerful if ReGen can get this next beacon phase. Skyarch, though, they are in even talent tiers. They can get a potential pick, actually, onto this Murden, who is caught out, but they're actually going to see him and just kind of scatter away, not realizing that he was all by himself. The rest of the team does come in onto a few of the members here. The Tassadar Kael'thas taking a significant amount of damage from those corruption stacks. We do have the Artanis currently rotating into the bottom lane with the Thrall, actually. Genji currently hovering around the midpoint, seeing if there's a rotation, but looks like he will rotate down once they see that there's this engagement coming in here. Now we do have... Genji has rotated in. They are trying to get a little bit of damage out here, and they are, by the way, just want to note this, this entire time the beacon phase is being charged, so they are getting percentile on the Zerg wave. It looks like this will be a second 100% Zerg wave going into the bottom lane. Now, ReGen at this point, if they can get a kill or two, they could potentially be gaining 10s, and this could be quite a big push. Now, Kael'thas has been putting out a lot of has been putting out a lot of damage, just clearing out a lot of these just smaller Zerg, which is just kind of hindering this push quite a bit. But the Ultralisk and the Guardians are doing significant amount of frontline and backline damage. We do have a leap in from the Sonya at this point. There is the Crystal Aegis, I believe, that no, not the Crystal. Kael'thas is actually going to be killed here without finishing his stats. Artanis will die, as well as the Tassadar, and this is a really strong push at this point for ReGen. They have all their members up. They have 10 still. So at this point, we do have the Zerg wave being cleared out by Team Skyarch, and it looks like ReGen will go ahead and position in on the aggressive side for some of these camps. They do have this keep killed in bottom, so they're going to be able to... Looks like they're going to probably prioritize this top lane. This has already been stolen away, or picked up by Team Skyarch. Now they do actually get the vision from the Tassadar. They don't have 10s yet, though, on the side of Skyarch, so they're going to be just posturing at this point, playing extremely safe. They don't want to get caught out of position. The boss is going to be up in the next 56 seconds, so we could be seeing a potential boss play quite soon from ReGen. They're going to go ahead and pick up these two camps, and they're really just playing the safe game. They don't need to take a fight. They could be a little aggressive, but with 10 so close on the side of Skyarch, they don't want to give that up. That little bit of, you know, that 2-level lead that they currently have. So Just not really taking any sort of risky plays at this point is just a smart move on ReGen's side. Now, they are just kind of waiting around for someone to rotate by them. At this point, we are going to see the Rhaegar going to get caught out, but he will be able to rotate away from all of this damage. Kael'thas putting out a little bit of zoning. There is actually the 10s acquired for... Oh my god, the Bloodlust coming out as well with the... We haven't seen Bloodlust and Earthquake in so long. The Artanis will be falling here. We do have the Kael'thas getting the Phoenix out. He will be able to get away. There is the Totem just to slow a few of the members away. Tassadar in this backline trying to get the kill onto the Genji. He will dash forward and get the kill onto the Tassadar. Diving forward, trying to get the kill onto the Rhaegar. He will die from the Gul'dan poison. And this is going to be the top lane currently being pushed in by that camp as well. This hard camp stolen away. And I wouldn't be too surprised to actually see the boss being picked up here as well.
The beacons are powering up.
They have 10 seconds. They can definitely... Oh, they need their Genji. They're waiting for their Genji for the deflect cheese. Genji does dash forward. And there we see the boss taking half its health away. I believe that's actually the moment you want to actually do it. Or I don't know if it actually matters. I have never done the Genji cheese on this map before. I've never had the opportunity, but this will be the boss stolen away at this point by ReGen. Meanwhile, we have just Skyarch. They're trying to at least just de-push all these lanes, but the pressure from ReGen has just been something that they can't really kind of get control of. They've just been snowballing this map constantly. If it's not the Zerg wave, it's the boss. If it's not the boss, it's minion pressure. If it's not minion pressure, it's camp pressure. And now, at this point, they have the boss pushing top, the Zerg wave's charging, they've got soft camp pushing with the boss too, and catapults are slowly, I think I'm counting 3 or 4 in bottom lane. So that's going to be the fort currently falling. The Zerg wave will be pushing in with this boss into top lane. This is looking extremely dire on the side of Team Skyarch. So they do have this keep gate still. Boss will start to whittle this down a little bit here. 13 is picked up on the side of ReGen. So they do have this little bit of talent advantage. We do have the Earthquake coming out from the Thrall. The Bloodlust is there as well. They start to back off here. Murden does pop his avatar form. He is getting away. A lot of ReGen is able to get out of this. Genji falling a little bit low here, but the kill will go out onto the Artanis, and they are going to start pushing back into this... Oh my god, the leap out from the Sonya there, confirming the kill onto the Rhaegar. They get the kill onto the Kael'thas as well. The Dragon Blade from the Genji trying to get the kill onto the Rhaegar. They get the reset, and he will be able to dash away. And with this Zerg wave and a little bit of boss, they should be able to push onto the core. GG's are already called. Looks like the second game will be going over to Team Skyarch. How rude of me. ReGen will be completing this game, and I believe this definitely secures their position in the playoff for Chair League Division 2. GG, well played. Congratulations to ReGen.